trigger the requirement to annex into the city. However, when we initially looked at the project, it appeared as though that area was exempt from that requirement. So we did not start annexation at that point. It was at that point that they went to the county in order to get the county approvals for their expansion. Since then, we did a bit more due diligence and we realized that area is not exempt from that requirement. But it was decided because they had gone so far along through the county process of rezoning, they should just finish it up with the county, then we wouldn't have to pick it up midstream and start over. So it's a little awkward, but still the process is the same, and that we need to weigh in on how we feel about the rezoning. So that said, the area here, this is the entire mobile home park properties. It's a few different properties there. And I guess I'll point out this is University Avenue. And the 130, it's where it splits. Here's the Casey's. You may recall from a previous meeting, this is the area we were talking about at a previous meeting. So the zoning that's in place is a variety of zonings between the county and the city. Here again is the area of the mobile home park. Predominantly it's zoned in the county with their R5 manufactured home park zoning. It is the only county zoning that allows manufactured home parks or mobile home parks. We'll use those terms interchangeably because the city terminology is mobile home park, the county terminology is manufactured home park. So predominantly it's in the county R5 zoning, and I apologize, I wish this mouse would work better. This strip, however, along the east side of the park is county zoning R1. So there are some manufactured homes or mobile homes actually in this section right now. They are legally non-conforming because they were constructed in 1960. This zoning, however, is R1. The expansion area is approximately here. So to expand in the county, they would need this rezoning in order to allow mobile homes. So this would need to become R5. Similarly, currently in the county, this section right behind the Casey's is zoned County B2, neighborhood business. There are also currently mobile homes here, also not in compliance with the county zoning ordinance. So this area is also seeking rezoning to that R5 mobile home or manufactured home park zoning, which is, as I mentioned, the only zone that they are allowed in the county. The surrounding zoning, just to give you a little more context, the Casey's, it has city zoning of B2, variety of county zonings along University Avenue here, B3 highway business, this is mobile home park, I believe, or excuse me, it's B2 neighborhood business. So a bit of a variety, but bottom line is they're trying to make this zoning consistent throughout the whole manufactured home park, in part to make it compliant and also in part in order to expand. So here's just a summary of the county zoning for R5. As I said, it's the only zoning district in the county that allows this use. It is allowed only with a special use permit. Should the city annex, which as I mentioned, we will pursue annexation once the county process is completed, the county R5 zoning would automatically convert to city ag zoning, agriculture zoning, which is also the only zoning district in the city's zoning ordinance that allows mobile homes. So if we were to annex, we would need it to be that ag zoning anyway. And it also, similar to the county, our zoning also requires a special use permit. So that's how the zoning, how it impacts city zoning. Here is the comprehensive plan, the future land use map from our comprehensive plan. I will point out here is the site of the mobile home park, this whole area. These are approximately the two areas that are seeking the rezoning. It might be a little bit hard to see, perhaps it's easier in your packets, but the color underneath each of these is that consistent orange color for multifamily zoning in the city. So that rezoning in the county would be consistent with our comprehensive plan in that it would make this whole area consistently zoned for a multifamily use such as mobile homes or manufactured homes. Similarly to the future land use map, this kind of use would also put forward some of the goals of the comprehensive plan, such as filling in if this area is expanded, filling in areas that are contiguous to the city, you know, developing in a contiguous way rather than a leapfrog fashion. So that in that regard, it's also consistent with the comprehensive plan. So, to summarize, the proposed county zoning would make it consistent, would make the existing park consistent with county zoning, as well as allow expansion if they were to get a special use permit approved. The proposed county zoning, as I said, is the only district that would automatically convert to city zoning that would allow the use that's on the ground. And the proposed county zoning is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Therefore, the staff recommendation is that the Plan Commission recommend to City Council that they defeat a resolution of protest of this county rezoning.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Any questions? Mr. Hopkins?
Partly from curiosity, but partly to understand how this works. What basis might there have been or might there be in other cases where the Senator District annexation agreement would not apply?
So that agreement set forth a number of subdivisions that were exempt. So that list, we have, at one point we made it into a map, and there's where the error happened. Somebody took the list and rather than just listing, rather than just mapping the portion of the subdivision that was on the list, they showed the whole subdivision as exempt. So when we looked at that very large area, we said, oh, the whole thing's exempt, sorry. But then as we dug down and looked again at the list, said, wait a minute, it's only a portion of that subdivision that's exempt.
So there is a list of places rather than criteria.
Correct.
Okay.
Any further questions? I have a question, a procedural question. So we're not talking about the special use permit tonight. We're not approving the special use permit. Is that correct?
No. So this, just to give you a little history on the case in the county, this has been going on for a couple of months now. There have been many, many meetings the county has had. A lot of people have come out to speak against the rezoning. The owners then sat down with the neighbors, or at least negotiated with the neighbors some things that would make it a bit more palatable to them, and I believe that they are fairly satisfied with what's been presented. So I suppose this is well more of a tangent, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the special use permit is going forward still through the county. It really wouldn't have an impact here, but they wanted just to finish that process. What we would likely do is an annexation agreement and wrap in the special use permit for the city zoning, and then we would also look at what's already been negotiated with the neighborhood and wrap that in, assuming it's not in conflict with anything that we might need. So it's been a rocky process for them, but I believe that it's really smoothed out, and I think people are fairly satisfied with the result. Then we come in with this little wrench and indicate that it's not actually exempt and they do need to go through our process. So we're going to try to make that as smooth of a process because it's already been worked out in many ways. So we will be able to wrap in that special use permit within the annexation agreement.
So we won't consider the special use permit?
Correct.
Yes. And the annexation agreement?
Assuming this rezoning would be approved by
Assuming there's
county
no more
board.
changes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Trail? I'm sorry.
This is sort of a, yeah, thank you. This is sort of a history question. The same owners own all these parcels, correct?
Within Woodland Acres, yes.
Yeah. So, assumingly when they bought these parcels, they knew or should have known that some of them were zoned so they couldn't put mobile homes on them, manufactured homes?
I'm not sure what their conversations were with the county initially. I know that it's been a long process, so I'm not sure at what point they knew whether or not they needed rezoning. I do know that it appears as though in looking at some of the materials from the county that there was even some confusion on their part on where that line, that R1 line was. Our map shows something a little less clear. So
Okay.
I think this has just been a case where a whole lot of little things have not gone as smoothly as perhaps they usually
Is it
would.
Question of conjecture. If this were in the city and somebody did something with a property that by rights they weren't allowed to do, is it justified to rezone it to resolve that problem?
They haven't done any expansion yet.
Well, you said there were existing...
from 1960. So just like our zoning, it's difficult to say. I don't know when the county zoning was put in place.
Okay.
So I don't know which chicken or the egg came first there, but it is a park from 1960, so a lot of times we don't always know the exact story and the order in which things happened.
Any further questions? Ms. Biblin?
Well, you hit on a couple of my questions. I actually drove out there today, and it's that northeast section is bucolic back there. It's wooded. And I wondered, what are the things, can you tell us what the neighborhood wanted changed? Or what?
I don't have the whole list because the materials are pretty voluminous. But I will say that a really nice fence, an opaque fence, was part of the negotiation. Not having direct vehicular access to Smith Road, which is the road along the east, just having access for emergency vehicles at that location because traffic came up as a comment. Those are the two big things that I know about.
Yeah. I was also going to ask about if they were going to put in another road or another entrance into the mobile home park because it seems to me pretty congested back there.
Right.
I also noticed there were no signs out there saying that there was going to be a meeting about this. Is that because why is that there
Well, the
weren't?
city wouldn't post any notices because this is not a public hearing in front of this body. We only post notices for public hearings. This
Okay.
is just a review. The county, I'm sure for any of their public hearings, they provided the notice that was required in the county.
Okay.
And I do have a sketch of their layout if you wanted me to describe it to you quickly. As I mentioned, the one entrance from Smith Road just for emergency access, and then just a loop road within the park itself. But some of that area in the corner does not appear to be built upon. So it would appear as though there would likely be some trees still remaining, but that isn't noted here, so I can't say that with any certainty.
Anything further? Ms. Billin? Anything further? No? Anybody else? No? All right, well, thank you. All right, well, do we have any discussion or anything? Any motions? Anyone wish to remain silent? Mr. Hopkins is looking for the...
Okay, what's the...
Oh, defeat a resolution.
I move to recommend to the city council that we defeat a resolution of protest for CCZBA 69 AM 17.
Motion by Mr. Hopkins. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Billman. We can have a roll call, please, when you're ready.
Mr. Ackerson,
Yes.
Ms. Billman,
Yes.
Mr. Fell, Mr. Fitch,
Yes.
Mr. Hopkins,
Yes.
Ms. Wadragu,
Yes.
Mr. Trail, Mr. Turner.
That motion passes unanimously. So I guess, do you have any idea when this will go to council for the record?
To City Council on September 18th, and for anyone listening at home, it is scheduled for ELUC tonight. I'm not sure if they've addressed it already since their meeting started at 6:30, and the full county board on September 21st.
Great, thank you. All right, continuing with the agenda then, we have no audience. We have no staff report. Do we have a staff report? There was a question that came up about a case we disposed of a while back. Yeah.
So if you're referring to the Borchers annexation agreement and annexation, that was approved by council.
Okay. The other question I had was the last time we had a county case and we had sort of said, with conditions, defeat a resolution of protest with conditions. I didn't know if that had wound its way towards resolution yet.
No, it sounds like it's kind of just hanging out at the county level right now.
Okay.
So it didn't even go to council yet,
Okay.
our council yet. So if and when they come back with any revised language, if it's significantly different from what you saw before or does not address your comments, then we'll bring it back here. If it is the same and addresses your comments or addresses
Sure.
the conditions, then we'll go to city
Okay.
council.
Thank you for the update. Anything else?
Yes, please. I think I emailed, but just to announce that there is a 30-day public comment period for the Curtis Road Corridor Study. It looks like this. It's at a number of places or online. Here in Urbana, it's at the library. I have my secret copy, so let me know if you'd like to look at that. Otherwise, it's online. That comment period runs September 5th, so from a couple of days ago through Thursday, October 5th. There is a public meeting to go over the draft and get some input. It is on the same date as your next Plan Commission meeting, however, but if you would like a full day, you can go to that meeting from 6 to 7:30 at the Church of Christ at 2601 Philo Road, or they will be, RPC will be making a presentation at Committee of the Whole on Monday, so feel free to attend that meeting or tune in from home, either online or on the TV, and you can watch that presentation if you didn't want to go to the September 21st meeting. So we welcome people's comments.
Great, thank you. Well, we have no study session. Therefore, I believe we are adjourned. Thank you.